industrial index of Nigeria's equities market was down about 6% in the first half of the year. What sort of impact will the half-year numbers have on investor sentiments? And Seun Arambada is a senior analyst at Mersitem Securities, joins me now for this discussion. Seun, a quick flashback. Let's look at how the first half of the year played out for the cement makers.
Thank you for having me, Kenneth. It's good to be here again. It was a pretty good first half of the year for cement players, performance-wise now. Seeing companies grow top line as well as bottom line. I think this doesn't come as a surprise to us. We still have that local demand for cement. That has been buoying performance of the passage. We still have that robust demand for cement. So that doesn't come as a surprise. But however, we also want to pay attention to cost, especially energy cost, and that has sort of pressured margins in the past years. Following the spate of FX evaluations that we've seen. So I think that's one major source of concern. But overall, it was a good outing.
Yeah, but looking at the COVID-19 effect, how much would you say this affected players? And I would like to get what you think about the half-year earnings that are expected.
Okay, so we had mentioned that last year, cement players proved resilient to the effect of COVID-19. They put out a very impressive Q1 2020 outing, and even though for some players, they recorded a slight decline in volumes in the second quarter, the performance in Q1 was able to mask that slight decline in Q2. So overall, they were able to put out a very strong H1 performance. So for coming into 2021, we are still very optimistic on performance of these players. There's still that base effects, given that there was a moderation in volume growth last year. So since we don't have that the kind of disruptions to economic activities like last year, I think we're still going to see impressive volume growth this year. So when you combine that with a low base from last year, I think we're up for a good outing.
Yeah, but there's quite a lot happening around pricing of late. Can you clear the air on for us then?
Okay, so just to clarify, do you mean pricing of cement or pricing of the stocks?
Pricing of cement.
Oh, okay. So, we wouldn't rule out a possible increase in the ex-factory price of cement going forward. I think there was a slight increase in the first half of the year, and I think that's typical of cement players, because you would expect that the second half of the year, you might want to see. You won't see a strong volumes like you see in Q1, understandably so, because of the second half is when you see rains and you are not able to dispatch as much cement volume. So you might just want to increase pricing in the first quarter to compensate for the second half. But we are considering that the increase in ex-factory price of cement might be sustained, because we are looking at the PIB, right? There's a development on the PIB front, and we are thinking that over the long term, that will affect terms of distribution of gas and gas costs in itself. So if I see a situation where cement makers might want to pass that cost on to the final consumers.
All right, thank you so much for the insights there. Seun Arambada is a senior analyst at Mersitem Securities.